much different did this NFC Championship game feel for you than it did last year?
I mean, there's differences and similarities, I think, for us, just continuing to have the mindset of one day at a time, one practice at a time, and then going out and executing no matter what the situation is. Obviously, our sense of urgency is extremely high, and love the way we've been practicing all week and excited to go.
Personally, for you, you were here for a half a season last year, and this year you've been here the entire season. Does it give you a different perspective on it at all?
I think just having familiarity with the guys and being there all off season and going through training camp with them, going through the highs and lows with everybody, definitely more comfortable and just with more time and more experience with all these guys, definitely means a lot.
What a boost is it to get Debo, even just on a limited basis, back in practice today?
That's awesome. Anytime he's out there, he brings a extra set of juice that is hard to mimic without him.
You learned about George being his teammate for the last year plus.
George is unbelievable, man. He's someone that's I think the best tight end in the league, and somebody who does everything right, whether it's blocking, receiving, blocking downfield. His leadership's great, and he's tough as ever. He play through anything and find any way to get on that field with his guys, and so I have the utmost amount of respect for him, and really glad that I get to be his teammate.
In this last game, you had 17 carries against Green Bay. In an ideal world, how many times would you like to tote the rock?
As many as it takes to win. I've had games where you have 10 carries, have games where it's 30. For me, it's not about the touches, it's about making them count. And, some games, carries a lot of times are dependent on, one, how well we're running the ball, and two, what the defense is giving you. And so for me, I just try to make every single touch count, no matter if it's a carry or pass or if I'm blocking, if whatever it may be, you just got to execute on that play.
What do you see from the Lions' front seven? Statistically, they're real good against the run.
Say that one more time.
From the Lions' front seven, statistically, they're good against the run.
Yeah, they're extremely tough. They play hard, they fly around, they're physical. I think they give you a lot of different looks. They pressure a lot. So I think a lot of guys get confused sometimes and, where they're coming from. But overall, it's a great defense that plays really hard, and it's no shock they're here.
His game has drawn some comparison to yours. Just what do you see out of him in his rookie
Well,
year?
sorry, what was that first part?
Jahmyr Gibbs, his game has drawn some comparisons to yours. Do you have any advice for a young running back in this league?
Yeah, just keep doing what he's doing. He's a stud, man. Been a lot of fun to watch. I remember watching him in college. Just an exciting player, and somebody who's going to be great for a really long time. So both those backs there, I have a lot of respect for, and the way they run. They're fast, physical. They can break tackles, catch the ball, whatever it is. So I just have a lot of respect for him.
What have you learned running behind Trent Williams? And from your view, how does a man that size move the way he does?
I've learned it's really fun to run behind Trent, and I have no idea how somebody that big moves like that. I've yet to figure that out.
Just in your
Any NFL MVP
There a little extra
award is
juice
for
going on.
Whoa.
quarterbacks only.
Yeah. Sorry.
People joke that the NFL MVP award is a quarterback award. So what do you think about a running back being a finalist this year?
Yeah, all the awards are great. I think, when you're this far into the season and you're playing for an NFC championship, it's hard to think about anything else but that. Obviously, those things are cool, but I don't think they touch how meaningful it would be to win this game and have an opportunity to go on to the next. But it's definitely an honor to be mentioned in that conversation. Definitely an honor.
Christian, does it feel like any other week, or is there a little extra juice going on?
I think you prepare just like any other week. I don't think you do more, but I think the natural emotion of this week has everybody pretty amped up, ready to go.
Jerry, any emotions from last year's NFC Championship game into this one, knowing just how you guys just really didn't get a shot? And did that fuel you and stick with you through this year just to get back here for that?
I think, last year was last year, this year's this year. I think we're exactly where we want to be, with a chance to win an NFC championship at home. And, I don't think we're thinking about last year at all. We're just focused on this week and doing everything possible to go out there and win.
Christian,
there was a great photo of you and Tara Vanderveer, I think earlier this week. What was it like to meet up with her? Is she a big football fan? Is she giving you tips out there?
Yeah, she's a legend. Obviously, just became the winningest coach and being a Stanford coach. So I would watch her when I was back in college and watch her team. So when I saw her, she had the jacket on with all the wins. So I had to go up and say hi, and she was awesome.
George Kittle talks about that, kind of the interchangeability of you and Debo and how it affects defenses. I know you're maybe not seeing it in real time. When you watch the tape, how much does it make a difference when you are both on the field together in terms of the way, even if you're not getting the ball, how it might influence the defense?
Yeah, I think it influences the defense a lot. I think, in order to do that, you kind of have to have the right mentality. And I look at the way that guys like him and Ayuk and Juwan and George and Juice, how everybody kind of commits to doing their job, whether they have the ball or not. So in order for it to really have an effect, you have to do things right when you have the ball and when you don't have the ball. And he's a good example of that. And even if he's just in motion, getting people to put their eyes on him, because you never know, when he has the ball in his hands, it's pretty scary.
In minicamp, it seemed like you were on a totally different speed than almost everybody else on the field. Is this team kind of like on a mission based on the way last year ended to finish the deal and take those 2 extra steps?
Yeah, definitely. I think going back to the first day of OTAs, we definitely had a salty taste in our mouth from last year, and we knew how good this team can be, and teams like this don't always come around. So to have it and to have this opportunity and to be in the position we're in, the sense of urgency is definitely high.
Both you and Kyle expressed that Detroit causes confusion up front. How do they do that? What do they do to cause confusion?
I just think, the different stunts and blitzes that they do, and they bring a lot of different people, and they do it fast. So that would probably be the biggest thing. Appreciate it, guys.
Hello. Earlier marveling at your workout after the bye week, deadlifting and doing box jumps. So he said he was impressed. Is that your normal routine?
Yeah, that's my normal vet day. So, I know a lot of people think I just sit here and just chill and drink Gatorade, but I actually try to use that day to get a little better.
Hey, Trent, I was just asking Christian the confusion that Detroit brings defensively. I think 3 of the 4 sacks that they had on Sunday, the pass rusher went untouched. Is that a reflection of kind of that confusion that they can cause?
Yeah, I mean, some of those wasn't even confusion. It was just challenging the weakness of the protection. So, yeah, they mix it up. They're not afraid to bring 6. They're not afraid to bring 7. I think bringing 5 is a norm for them. So that's what keeps it confusing. They bring guys, they drop guys out. They drop a big guy out, bring a small guy. So, and that's just, it's up to us not to play into their hands and not be behind the chains and getting the 3rd and long a lot.
Last week, you're talking about how hard it is to kind of climb the mountain every year and keep getting to this point over and over again. How much urgency, I know you're always urgent, but how much urgency does it add to, after being there multiple times and coming up short, to break through and get to that next level?
Honestly, man, if your urgency isn't on level 10, if it wasn't on level 10 last year, if it wasn't on level 10 the year before, it's probably not going to be on level 10 this year. So I think nobody needs any extra motivation. We talk about championship week. We talk about 4 teams out of 32 being left to prove they're the best. I think the urgency is a given. You know what I'm saying? And now it's just about going out there and taking advantage of the opportunity and trying to play mistake-free football, because ultimately that's going to be the difference. All these teams are good at this point. It's about who makes the less mistakes.
Kyle said earlier that he felt like that urgency, he notices it showing up even in the offseason. I'm wondering how it's affected you in terms of, when it's maybe you want to do that little extra workout or whatever. And as a team, do you see guys putting in more of like, hey, we need to do everything we can because that climb is so difficult?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, so if you've been there, you know what it takes to get back there, right? So, we've been there, obviously, the last 2 years. So, starting in OTAs, you kind of know, and then you kind of got to have control, too, because you want to get it all back in one day, right? You want to, you want to win a championship first day of OTA. So, you know, you got to have patience and understand this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And, you know, you need a little luck. But for the most part, it's all about focus and being able to set a standard and being able to get to that standard every Sunday.
Do you guys like it when the opposing defense brings an extra rusher to try to stop your passing game?
Yeah, because that means that the more rushes you bring, the less you have in coverage. And I like our guys when they can get the ball in their hands with only one guy in their vicinity, or if they only got to beat one guy in a lot of open space. So, you know, it's one of those things where you can live by, you can die by. For us, you know, it's a challenge, and we welcome the challenges. And, you know, it's why you got to be on it. It's why you can't play into their hands and get behind the chains, because they can make your life hard.
Colton's probably going to get Hutchinson, I would imagine, in this game a lot. And that means you're probably going to get Pascal and Kaminsky on your side. What do they look like on film? What stands out about their game to you?
About all of them, or just Pascal and Kaminsky?
Pascal and Kaminsky.
Oh, well, they're more so what we would call 3-4 ends. So they're more so interior guys, and they kick out, you know, depending on the formation of the defense. So 79 or 93, they be playing 4-eye, 3-tech majority of the game, and then some looks they'll kick out the end. So they're just bigger. They're bigger guys. They can press the pocket. All of them play like their hair is on fire. Nobody takes a play off. You know, they're a great complement to 97 on the other side, because he often gets pressure and kind of flushes the quarterback right to those guys that's compressing the pocket. So they have a good rush plan, man. You know, obviously Colton, I'll probably see him too, I'm sure. But, you know, anytime any place 97 lines up, you got your work cut out for you. You know, he doesn't stop. He's a great player. So, you know, we definitely got to be locked in.
Trent, how much do you enjoy the moments, the small moments, like walking out of the tunnel with Debo, the music blaring before a big game like you're going to have on Sunday?
Yeah, I enjoy all of it, man. At this point in my career, you know, I don't take it for granted. Any chance I can go out there and play, you know, any game with this team, you know, I'm grateful for it. Thank God all the time, just for this opportunity in itself. So yeah, it's the best feeling in the world, man. Coming out to this stadium, see a red, fans just going crazy. You know, it's one of those things when you lay down at night, it's kind of thing you kind of go through your head when you're thinking about, you know, all the things that just happened.
You push back to 2010. You're drafted. You have a young offensive coordinator, Kyle
2010.
Shanahan. What's your earliest memory of him, or you know, meeting him, and you know, what can you say about the relationship you've had for decades now?
You know what's crazy? The thing that stands out to me was his swag. Obviously, in 2010, you didn't meet too many 30-year-old coordinators. So him walking in with Jordan shorts and Jordan's on, that was a shock to me. So that stood out to me, and I've always thought about it over the years. But, you know, just seeing he always was a brilliant mind. Anytime he spoke football, anybody would listen. Everybody listened. You know he knew what he was talking about. But just seeing him mature and seeing him add different facets to the offense and kind of take his dad's offense that was world-renowned and kind of make it his own. And you know, just seeing how he coaches the team, how he leads, and how he prepares his team week in and week out. You know, I mean, we're super close, but I couldn't be any more proud of him. You asked me 14 years ago, I probably would have never seen this coming, but, you know, I just think it's so dope that he's one of the best coaches in the league, and he literally, you know, handpicked me in 2010. And, you know, obviously I hadn't played for him every year, but every year I've been in the league, I've been in touch with him, and we've always kept in touch, always kept a great relationship.
Penei Sewell's game and just the success that he's had at such a young age.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite guys to watch. You know, he reminds me a lot of myself. He emulates a lot of things that I do, which impresses me because, you know, we never even really worked together personally. So, you know, that means he watches film. It means he's intelligent. He knows when to bring certain things out. So, you know, he's always been one of my favorites ever since he was in Oregon. Then seeing his maturation from year 1 to year 2 and to now, you know, I just think he's taken giant leaps. And I think he's, you know, he's one of the better right tackles you'll find, not just in the league today, but, you know, in recent memory, honestly.
How has Debo today at practice, and then how does him being on the field with Christian, can you feel how it affects the defense when you're out there?
Yeah, I can, just for the simple fact when you see them guys get the ball and you see what they do with it. But, I don't know how the defense approaches it any different. I'm in a box and looking at a DN or a D tackle 24/7. So, but having Debo, it's like saying you want one playmaker or two playmakers. It's anytime you got two out there, you're gonna reap the benefits of having two. And, have three. Luckily for us, we got 3 or 4, so we can keep them fresh. But, those guys they just present such challenges for the defense because you got to know where everybody's at. Normally you got to know one guy at maybe 2. On this offense, you got to know where 3 or 4 guys are at it at all times, and it's hard.
You just talked about how enjoyable it is to run behind you. How enjoyable is it for you to block for him?
Oh, man, it's blocking for the best running back in the league. It makes our job so much easier. Like even the game-winning touchdown, that guy is unblocked in the hole, and obviously that could have been a first down. He would have still been cheering, but for him to make that guy miss, and we say that's yours, we can't block all 11. You got to leave one, and we tell the running back all the time that you got to take care of one, and 99% of the time he's going to take care of his. So if you can hold on to your guy for that split second, let him get through the line, he's going to create havoc.
Thanks, Trent.
All righty, appreciate y'all.
Howdy.
George, is the constant drumbeat of disrespect for Brock, you think a good thing maybe for him he seems like he's a guy who admits that he plays with a chip on his shoulder. Think he'll have a positive effect?
I don't think it'll have a negative effect. I don't think Brock really listens to too much. I don't think he uses any type of social media very much, and I think he's kind of like me. You don't really read anything unless your mom sends you it. So, I think Brock's just going to be dialed the way that he has been all season, the last 2 years for us. And, people can say whatever they want to say, and he's just going to go out there and be Brock.
Or it's like the 4 teams left all rely pretty heavily on the tight end.
That they do.
Well, is that a coincidence, do you think, or is something about the position, or what do you think of it?
I feel like if you look back at, most of the last Super Bowl winners, every team has like a very, very talented tight end that they use, whether that's run game or in the pass game. Tight ends they give you an ability to mismatch different, you get on linebackers, you get on safeties. You want to use 2 guys to cover them. It doesn't matter. It opens up other people. So when you have someone that can dominate the middle of the field, it makes it a lot easier on your quarterback.
What do you think of Laporta? Obviously, you know him pretty well. What stands out about him?
I mean, Sam's fantastic. His film speaks for itself. He's second team All-Pro, Pro Bowl in his first year as a rookie. That's really hard to do. Not very many people do that. He's playing at a high level. He's in an offense where, the quarterback trusts him. They throw him out there on third down. He's running wide receiver routes. He's inside, dominating the middle. He's doing everything that you want him to do as a rookie and more. So, I'm very proud of Sam. And, I hope he doesn't have a great game against us, though.
You were a pretty big supporter of his throughout the pre-draft process over the summer.
Yep.
Is there just anything that's even surprised you maybe about the success he's had given the difficulty of adjusting to that position?
No, not really. I mean, I worked out with him a little bit this offseason, picked his brain a little bit. He's a super smart kid. And just watching him work out, I could tell, he was ready for it. He's got a sick forward lean to him. He knows how to run in and out of cuts, catches everything with his hands. I knew he was a player just watching him. You could see it in college, but just working out, when he's working out with all these other NFL guys, you could tell, he didn't stand out in a way oh, this is a college kid. He looked like he was a guy who understood what he was doing. So he has an understanding of the game. He has an understanding of what the Lions want from him. And, when you put him out there with, Coach Campbell and, their mindset, I think he fits the mold perfectly, and he kind of adds to that mold himself. So, I mean, he's everything that you want in a tight end that can do everything.
This is your 4th NFC Championship in 5 years. Is there a different vibe to it, or a confidence or hunger compared to those past ones?
No, I've been pretty hungry at all of them. I won 1. Lost 2. It's not really fun to lose those games. So, no, I've been pretty hungry for him. I think the whole team is. The whole vibe is, we have a confidence that we've built throughout the season. It's not a fake confidence. It's we've played football at a high level this long. Let's just keep going out there and play football at a high level, play a team game this weekend. And, huge fan of our game plan this week. I think Coach Shanahan's definitely, he's working, and I think that's great for us. So, no, I don't know if the vibe's different. It's just a vibe that we understand not the pressure of the game, but just, where we are, the situation. We're in the NFC Championship game, and, all we're going to do is go out there and play our best football and see where it takes us.
Put in perspective how difficult it is to make this climb 4 times in 5 years to get to this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard. Everything has to kind of go your way. You look at 2019 and, that season, you can't really even compare it to this year. And, we go to the Super Bowl, lose, and then 2020, we're hey, we got all these players back. We're going to go out there and win. And then ball doesn't bounce our way, and we, have a bunch of injuries, and it's things you can't control. So then 2021, probably week 6, no one really thought we were going to go anywhere, and ended up somehow back in there again. And every year is just so unique. That's what makes it so difficult. You might have similar players and guys who know how to win football games, but when you look at, other role players and stuff like that, it's changing. You can't keep everybody, you can't pay everybody, you have to fill gaps, you have to bring new guys in, you have to try to keep your culture. There's just so many things that go into it. We lose our run game coordinator, lose our offensive coordinator, lose your defensive coordinator. There's just so many interchanging parts, and so to continue and sustain winning, as many regular season games as we do, making it into the playoffs, it's very difficult. But at the end of the day, you got to continue to win all the other ones, and we haven't done that yet.
Understanding the pressure of the situation, but what does it do when you maybe haven't got over the hump yet in terms of, hey, how many more opportunities are we going to get to be in this spot?
I try not to think of it like that. It's just, hey, here's the opportunity. It's right in front of us. This is what, since the end of last season, this is where, hey, what are we going to do to try to get back there and, try to win that game? And all the effort you put in throughout offseason OTAs, summer, training camp, every single day, every decision that you make kind of leads to this moment. And, hey, we're here. We made all the right decisions, and we've done the right things. And so what are we going to do as a team to win this football game? And I have a lot of belief in our team that we're going to go out there and do all the right things.
On the coaching front, I guess how impressed have you been with the way Kyle has said you've lost a lot of guys? How impressed have you been with the way Kyle has brought new people in and sort of kept things seamless?
I mean, it's pretty incredible. It really speaks for itself what him and John have done, just filling in gaps, bringing in new guys, giving people chances. And I think what Kyle just does such a great job of is, he looks at what he has available to him, no matter what it is, no matter what the injuries are, and the way he can build game plans around people to put people in positions to succeed. It's pretty incredible. And just to be a part of this offense, to see how it's grown, to see like how his play calling has kind of changed or how it's evolved, whatever you want to say it is. It's just really fun to be a part of that. And for him to be able to constantly fill gaps, bring new people in, but at the same time, keep the culture the way it is, keep the mindset the way that it is, be as physical, be as fast as you possibly can, and go out there and play at your best ball. He does a pretty damn good job for that. And I'm actually pretty disappointed he hasn't been Coach of the Year yet.
George, with regards to your dad's pregame letters, does anything surprise you anymore? And do you expect a tone? Like, do you know what's coming, or is it something different every time?
Usually, like the bigger the game, the more aggressive it is. So I'm always a huge fan of that. There's times where he's kind of like, the turtle from Kung Fu Panda? Very wise, very like sage-like. And then there's times where it feels like you're getting a speech to go into a bunker, with your boys, and there's bombs coming down around you. Like the mindset's very, very different, game to game, and I really appreciate that from him because he either adds to my mindset or he gives me another thing to think about in a good way, and it's part of the switch I just flipped.
George, Kirby Joseph and C.J. Gardner-Johnson. These guys, they're super physical and they're taking big hits. Do you guys feel the need to match their physicality in this game, or is it not about that?
I think what the 49ers put on tape week in and week out is that we're one of the most physical teams in the NFL. I've been up here countless times and I've said that, so they're a very physical team. They go out there and they hit. They do all the things that they're supposed to do, and I feel like we do the same thing, so I don't think we need to match it as well as we just need to play our game.
What kind of energy did Debo give you today being on the practice field?
Debo's always great. He's just excited for him to be out there. He's just such a huge part of our offense and everything that we do, and just his energy itself is infectious, and he gets guys going, he gets them confident. Him and BA together is its own, that's its own thing entirely. So very excited to have Debo out there, and looks great. Thank you. Hi, Nick. Not mine.
Steve Wilkes today, probably on 3 different occasions, touched on how important it was to shut these guys down in the run. Has that been a huge focus this week?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they got 2 really good running backs, so they do some really good things. Very fast, physical running back. So, I mean, they get their running game going, then it just opens up a lot of stuff for them.
How influential is Steve Wilkes in it seems like the growth of your coverage skills has really taken off this season. How much has he influenced that?
I think it's a lot. I think just the way that, he coaches us, the way he calls the game, and just the way that we're able to execute, I think it kind of goes all hand in hand.
How much of a headache is the German receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown for you all?
He's going to be, he's a big problem. Just watching the film, he's electric, can get the ball down the field, can ball the short areas and just make plays happen. So, for us, especially the secondary, we just got to know where he is at all times and just know that golf likes to go to him. So.
How are you going to stop him from getting yards after catching a ball?
After you catch it, you got to tackle him.
I think you guys have known about Juwan Jennings, intensity and kind of defensive mentality he has in the wide receiver position. He's getting a lot of attention for driving a guy into the Gatorade coolers.
No doubt.
Do you respect just kind of that ferocity he plays with? Could he be like an honorary linebacker?
Oh, no, for sure. You got to respect that, especially out of a receiver. He's just the way that he's willing to block, the way he's willing to go across the middle. Just the toughness and the energy that he brings to the team. Just not to the offense, but to the defense as well. Like he could definitely be a defender on the defensive side as an offense. So, and he do play defense like that. We talk about it all the time. So, we just love his mentality on defense, and it kind of sets the vibe for how we're gonna play that game.
Kyle was saying when Juwan first got here, after a few practices, that he actually had to go to defensive players and say, "Look, this is just the way he plays.
Right.
He's not doing any. He's not being dirty. He's just playing to the whistle." And do you remember that? And you're pretty intense yourself. Did you guys ever get in little tussles over?
Oh yeah. Juwan, he'll get you. He'll get if you don't be thinking about it at practice. But I remember one time Juwan laid me out. And I know, right? It sounds crazy, but he did. And I was like, wasn't expecting it. But he did, and I was like, damn. But, that's just the way that he goes. Like, I remember just, like, watching film. And every time Kyle goes on the film, and he always just points Juwan out, like, I think he's doing this on purpose. But, he's doing it to every guy that he lines up against, on game day. So, like, that he's not doing it on purpose. And, he's tempered it down a little bit in practice. He don't do it as much. But he definitely still get out there and let you know. But, yeah, he definitely don't do that no more. So.
Diameter Lenore is known as feisty and scrappy, and how have you seen that really manifest into a very consistent and strong cornerback?
I love it in him too. Just the way that he attacks every day. That's just how he is. You could tell in his mentality. You could tell the way that he works. And you can see it on game day. He's just all over the field, and sometimes you think that's our third linebacker out there, just the way that he be laying guys out. But he's in that nickel spot, and he's playing like a third linebacker. And we just got confidence in him just all around, just the way that he covered, the way he moves, and we know he's going to come in and tackle somebody in the box. So, Demo, one of my favorite players on the team. So just the way that he plays, the way that he moves, I like to see his growth.
He went from the outside to the inside and has still played at such a high level.
Yeah, it just shows his versatility. Like, you could tell, like, just all his life he's been outside just playing football, just playing, like, just outside. So you could just see just the versatility of, like I said, the way that he moved, the way that his ball skills, just the way that he catches on to things fast, and then just the aggressiveness, like, with it just shows just kind of like, just a little bit, not, just kind of like to read people sometimes I do, and you could just tell, like, that he was just an outside kid. So that's pretty cool to see.
How loud it was in the stadium on Saturday. Is that something that you registered while you were running around after the pick, or do you black out in those moments? As a player, when can you gauge?
I was blacked out. I ain't gonna fake it. I was blacked all the way out. But, we do need Faithful to get loud, though. I know just throughout the game, it was just kind of when you're winning and it's going good, you hear everything's loud and you can't really hear much, but just throughout the game, when it was going our way and not going our way, you can hear it die sometimes, and then Christian will bust out a run or something to happen and it just go crazy. So that's what we're trying to get just throughout the whole game next week is just that electricity that that you can hear and feel in sparks of the game. We're trying to get that to be the whole game.
From a tactical standpoint, that last drive, before the snap of the pick, how much do you think that did help the defense, the fact that they had to go extreme silent count on that last drive?
Oh, yeah, no, it was huge, man. It was huge. Like, I say probably about the third quarter of the game, just the momentum and everything. Like, you can hear the crowd just get louder and louder more into the game. And then just on that drive, it was so loud they couldn't even – the offense could barely even function. So, it's been huge.
You guys' standard for a defense is very high just because what you guys have done in the past. So when people look at, against Green Bay, it's not like they gashed you, but Jones had 100 yards. That hadn't happened for a while. You guys didn't have any sacks. I mean, do you feel like there's another level you guys have to reach? And were you guys not thrilled with that performance, or how?
Well, first, Aaron Jones is real good back. Like the way that he runs the ball, he don't run the ball like a little guy. You know what I mean? He runs the ball like he's the biggest guy on the field. So, he's one of them guys that you just got to give your respects to at the end of the day. And but are we worried about Detroit running the ball? Like it's our job to go out there and stop it. We don't look at our last game and say, oh, just because they got a few runs that. We're worried. They got all those runs on the same play. So if we can stop that play, it's probably going to eliminate majority of the runs that they had. So, but, it's just, that was a good team as well, too. So, it goes with a little bit of just, understanding the fits, doing our job, and then just playing hard as we can so that, even if it's not the perfect call, we can make it a, great call. So, we don't panic about what happened last week. We just live and learn from it and correct our mistakes and just keep moving forward and just being who we are.
Dre, this is your fourth NFC Championship appearance in 5 seasons. What do you feel like that experience has helped you this year compared to your rookie year in your first NFC Championship game against Green Bay?
Yeah, it's helped a lot. You kind of just know what to expect. Like, the jitterbugs that's going to come, everything that's going to come with it. But I think the most crazy thing is – just from rookie year to now is you just feel like it's more important now, versus rookie year. You're not really sure what's going on, but now that I done been in it a few times, it's like, all right, I done been here before. I know what it takes. I know how we got to play. I know how I got to play. And yeah, just we got to make sure we get the job done this year.
Is there a game this season that you're most proud of the team for, maybe coming back from a tough game the week before or anything like that stands out in your mind?
It was a couple games this year I feel like we were battle tested on. Honestly, just for me, it was probably that last game, just the way Brock went down when we needed him to and go and win that draw for us, and then how the game ended. I think it just shows a lot about the team. Like, it wasn't going perfect all day for the offense, but it's never going perfect all day for anybody. So you got to make the play whenever it's time for you to make the play. And they made the play going down to give us, that lead, to give us the confidence that, hey, like, we got to go get this stop. And I think that was just exactly just how the season, not how the season's been going, but it just shows the character of man and how bad we want it in the building. So.
On the broadcast, you told Johnny Holland, I'm going to mess around and get another one, talking about interceptions. Did you feel like you were due for another one?
Yeah, I do. I feel like I'm due for another one too. So hopefully we're gonna see it. We're gonna see what happens. I think hopefully it will.
Was there something Love was doing that indicated that you could maybe get another one?
Not really. It's just a good old feeling. So hopefully we can get that feeling again.
Thank you, Dre.
Thank you. I appreciate it.